Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. There's been a lot of talk about unsealing the Epstein files. There have been requests for subpoena all the Epstein documents. There's now a call to release the transcripts or release the grand jury transcripts of the Epstein case, and that's met with some mixed reviews, which is interesting. Many of the victims' lawyers would like the grand jury transcripts released, but they would like the victims' names redacted to help protect their privacy. Understandable. Many of these people were underage when they were assaulted, and they want a modicum of privacy because of that. Ms. Maxwell doesn't want these records released because she has an appeal ahead of the Supreme Court, and she feels this would be detrimental to her appeal. There is one lawyer, though. His name is Neil Binder. He's an attorney for clients whose names are redacted in the publicly filed version of this letter. And he said that the government had met its burden to justify releasing the documents, and that if they were released and as the clients' names were made public, they would be innocent third parties at the time of any allegations contained in the grand jury materials. In other words, he's not representing the victims. He's representing, I don't know, the Johns. That's what it makes it seem like. If not the Johns, then the people who aided this whole process. I'm not sure who's on his list here. So there's a spectrum of information. Now, a lot of the information that on the grand jury is already kind of out in the public forum. And my understanding transcripts, they only have like a police detective and somebody else who spoke about the crimes committed. They don't have any of the victims' testimonies involved in that. The victims were also extremely concerned with the treatment that's been given to Ms. Maxwell, being moved to a less restrictive prison, and as the article said, the specter of clemency floating around her. So there's a lot of energy around this. So let's take a look really quickly here at the grand jury testimony and those transcripts being released. What's the energy about those items being released? Okay, so come on down. Entertainment purpose only. Let's take a look at this. Foundation of the reading is the Four of Swords. This is retreat, contemplation, meditation. Something that hasn't been revealed yet, but it's resting. It's just sitting there. Crossed with integrity. Grand jury transcripts typically are not released. But imagine that they could be released in unusual circumstances. Underneath it all is the Tower. That would seem to indicate that some people are very concerned about the transcripts being released because it's going to take them down. Where to go with that? Again, a lot of people could have their doubt. Victims could be harmed by this. Third parties could be harmed by this. Jeffrey Epstein, if we assume that he is deceased, and Ms. Maxwell, who is in prison, have already been harmed by this. But a lot of people can be taken down by some of the information in there if it's not protected properly. In the past, the Two of Cups, I think it's the agreements made about what we normally do with grand jury transcripts. Current situation is the Ten of Wands, but we are in a very unusual situation here. there is a lot of clamoring for these documents. And what do you do to address people that want to see that for transparency reasons? How do you manage this? Overarching energy is the Five of Swords. Winning and losing. No compromise. And I'm wondering if that's the angle that maybe in some ways this is kind of like the fear is that everybody's going to be, if they release them as they are, everybody is named. But I do think that while the victims' names out there would be bad for them, I think it would be a lot worse for people whose names were not the victims that are associated with this. And I'm not saying that like to protect them. I'm just saying would be my. I would agree with the lawyer, Mr. Binder, there that said, if my client's names got released in this one, things would be really bad for them. They'd be vilified. Yeah, if Judge Dershowitz's name was on there, yeah, that would be really bad for his reputation, wouldn't it? Wonder why. This is something that a lot of people don't want to have anything to do with. Lesson to be learned. 10 of coins. It's not... it's not the victims. The victims will be okay. This is all about wealthy people very concerned about their own downfall. And this is also about not only their wealth and their becoming social pariahs, but their legacies. Outcome is justice. I would tend to... So, obviously, the Justice Department holds on to these records. They're going to be the ones who release it. One clarifier, the High Priestess, secrets being revealed. I would be a little bit worried about what... You kind of want all the transcripts released. The only thing I would want struck from the record are the victims. But there's going to be information released on that one, probably by the Justice Department. Well, yes, by the Justice Department. How do you determine what's redacted so that people know what went on without hurting the victims? Now, we don't know all the names of people that were named in these grand jury transcripts that actually are innocent. They had nothing to do with any of this. They just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time or unaware that they were helping something. But there's probably also a lot of not very good people that don't want their names released. Just like the Department of Justice said, oh, we're not going to investigate any of the Johns in this. And one of the more outspoken victims talked about that. Let's see, and I think, where was she in this article? Yeah, a lawyer for Annie Farmer, a victim of Epstein and Maxwell, who testified at Maxwell's trial, also expressed revulsion at Maxwell, is now to the victim's horror, her attempt is attempting to escape justice. She said in the unsealing request, while it may help expose the magnitude and abhorrence of Epstein and Maxwell's crimes, it doesn't go far enough, and suggested the government should disclose the more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence it possesses. This is the part where we say, we don't know who the Johns are. This is the evidence where the girls who were victimized can say, oh, I know who that is. That's so-and-so. They can identify themselves in the picture and who they were with. And that's the part the government, when I had the High Priestess come out, that's the part. That's what the High Priestess is. Releasing some stuff, but not like this stuff, the meaningful stuff. In the short term, for Carter, will the meaningful stuff, the 300 gigabytes of evidence, be released? Death card, that's a no. They're going to bury that. That's a big no. It's a 3 major arcana no. No, they're not. They're the wedding card inclusion. They're going to talk about. They're not going to release it. Almost like it's outside the scope of the request that's put in there, and they are going to. If a subpoena comes in to release it, there's going to be fighting to prevent that from getting out. They know that if they release it, it's going to be horrific, and it's going to open up a new chapter in this. I do think eventually there will be a commission put together to look in this, and then that information gets released. But their refusal probably launches a commission to look into that, which I will ask about that. Will that same data that doesn't get released, that 300 gigabytes of physical evidence and other data, will that be released at a future point? As an example, maybe in a committee investigation that further delves into Epstein's crime and those in government that would be involved with it. 7 of Wands. Yeah, I think so. That's more of a yes card, yes. And it'll be used to advance the case. It'll take time to get it. You have to fight to get it. It'll take time to get it because they want to keep it quiet. But yeah, it's not freedom of information per se, but there is a big push. Yeah, they're going to try. It's almost like you have to fight to get it because they're going to hide it. They're going to keep moving it. Say, I don't know, we lost it somewhere. But if you persevere and you keep trying to find it, there's big evidence here that they don't want you to find. Now, there's no way that this should be lost. So I think so it may not truly be hiding it, but there's going to be games played to prevent that information from being let out. And it could just be that they do get it out, and it's going to show the people that were really behind everything. All the folks that were sneaking around. It could be something like that. You know, the thieves that are out there will be revealed, because underneath it, that's what that record's going to show. They're going to show all the people who were trying to get away with it, and we're counting on this data never coming out. But we're going to have to fight to get it. Okay? All right, so I record this on Lionsgate, August 8th, Friday. Ms. Maxwell is still in her prison cell, or prison dormitory. What is her testimonial future looking like? Is she going to get her pardon or clemency from, let's say call it clemency, because that could be a pardon or commutation from Trump. Will she get her pardon or commutation or clemency from Donald Trump? Little four-carder. Knight of Pentacles, the offer, waiting for that offer, or the offer's coming. Yep, just be patient, temperance. You know, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The Empress, the woman who did things with the children. And the Four of Swords, waiting. And the Six of Coins underneath it. Not only the predation of little girls, but the gift that's being given. She's waiting for it. I think that they've told her the offer's coming. She's waiting. And, you know, it's like they're working out the details on this while she waits. I don't think it's imminent. I don't think it's going to happen like this weekend or something like that. I think that when the offer comes, she has to sort of sleep on it. You know, is this the one I want? Type thing. Can I get more out of this? But she's sitting in a really strong position here. The more that this story has legs, the stronger her position is with Trump and getting a pardon of some sort, some type of clemency. What else do you want us to know about the transcripts and the request to release the transcripts? Four cards, and we'll call it a reading at this point. Go on down. Here we go. 4 cards. The Empress. Back to Maxwell. It's going to be very revealing. Justice card again. Well, all major arcana. 3 of coins. Ms. Maxwell right now is really working the Justice Department to figure a way out of this case and be set free. And I think she's going to have success. This is the same card I had for the 3rd week of August. But even if she's set free and she celebrates that, I do think the investigation, there's going to be a new investigation that spawns out of this. I'd like to tell you that she spends the last 20 years of her life rotting in prison, but I'm not convinced that that is the case. If there's other charges that she could be brought up on, then that might be an end. Maybe this investigation comes up with other charges that she could be held to account with, and while she may not be in prison for her crimes against these children, she might be held accountable for something else. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.